Hello, this is Leanne Johnson, and I'm going to be talking about using the ProQuest Indianapolis Star databases today. Sometimes when we have in-person patrons and they say they want to search the Indianapolis Star microfilm, it's easy to forget that we have this great database, which for a limited time is a set of databases. With a bit of helpful instruction, most patrons will quickly see what a great resource this is and how much easier it is to search than microfilm. Plus, as a bonus, you can search decades of newspapers instead of day by day, page by page, as with the film. Most of the time, patrons are searching for historic obituaries or articles pre-2004. For that, simply use the historical newspapers Indianapolis Star 1903 to 2004 database. If you choose the option Indianapolis Star 1991 to current, it will be in text form only. In other words, it won't appear to be a page from a newspaper, which is what patrons usually want to see. However, depending upon how recent the article is that they're looking for, you may want to search the recent newspapers database, to which we have a trial membership until July 31st, 2020. I searched for an article from 2014, and it was in the form of a digitized newspaper page. This goes from 2009 to 3 months prior to today, due to the fact that there's a 3-month embargo for the recent editions. This pretty much lines up with our usual microfilm holdings, as they tend to be at least 3 months behind for the Indianapolis Star microfilm. As for access to 2005 to 2008, text format appears to be the only digital option in the 1991 to current database. Of course, we do have those years on microfilm at the library. For those years, you could have patrons search the indystar.newspapers.com index to see what comes up and then point them to the appropriate microfilm. But I'll talk a little more about that later. Since most of our patrons want historical newspapers that are searchable, we'll concentrate on the ProQuest historical newspapers, the Indianapolis Star 1903 to 2004 database. There's some tips I would like to offer for best results in using this database. With the advanced search, I have the best luck with using a date range if I don't know the exact date that the article appeared in the newspaper. Even if the date of death is known, it's best to enter a date range within 10 days of the death. If you're searching for an event, such as a court trial, where there may have been multiple articles on the same subject, use a much looser time frame to catch all of the pertinent articles. Depending upon the last name of the person, especially if it's unusual, you might consider searching just with the last name. You could even try an unusual first name search. I have even put in a last name and a keyword like drowning, which sometimes will find an article more easily. For this example, though, I'm searching for an obituary where I know the last name and I know the person died in August of 1994. So I searched with the last name in 1994. 3 results come up. This is probably due to the fact that the person's last name is not something very common. The first result is the one we're looking for. Let's open it and see what it looks like. So now I have the obituary I was looking for. The highlighting feature is good to call attention to the names in your search box. However, now I want to save a copy of the article that does not have highlighting. I'll save a PDF of the page on which the article appears. Using the snipping tool, which should be installed on all the microfilm readers now, you can snip the article if you wish. And that is especially important if the patron wants to make a printout of it. When I have LibAnswers tickets or chats asking for obituary lookups to be emailed, I usually send a scan of the whole newspaper page and also a closer snip of the actual article. So right now we have a limited time free trial of the Indy Star to current with 3-month embargo. So I did a search using this database with the recent newspapers just to see what the results look like. Until recently, when we've used this database, we would get text-only results, which is not usually what patrons want. In the past, I would have automatically sent the in-person patrons looking for post-2004 articles in the Star to microfilm. However, we have this free trial right now where the results are digitized newspaper pages. This trial will last until July 31st, 2020. We definitely want to take advantage of having this trial until the end of July. Just keep it in mind for anyone looking for 2005 up to 3 months ago. I'm going to do an example search. Let's pretend that this is an event that cannot be Googled. This type of search is usually for people who are looking for articles where they personally were mentioned or pictured and mentioned in the caption. But with this search, I'm going to use an example and we're going to pretend Google doesn't exist. I'm going to use the advanced search feature. I was trying to think of an event in recent history that I remembered, but not the exact date of it. I remember Osama bin Laden being captured and killed, but not the exact year or date. I find that I have many situations with patrons where they could tell you what they were wearing, but not the exact year. Often they can tell you what the weather was like outside, but as we know, if an event occurs in Indiana and it was hot outside, it could be anywhere from April to October. So for this exercise, I chose an event where I couldn't remember the weather or anything else that would indicate a month. I thought it was probably in the early 2000 teens, but I didn't know for sure. I kept the date open. I chose to search for the keywords Osama bin Laden and capture. I got 63 results. Most are from May of 2011. Those that mention his death are from early May 2011. So I'm going to click on a result number 4 and see if the highlighted words are a good clue to the date of his death. And on May 2nd, 2011, on the front page, it says he's dead. So here is what we needed, the front page of the Indianapolis Star from May 2nd, 2011. It didn't take long to find this compared to searching microfilm, mere minutes as opposed to hours or days of searching. I have my fingers crossed that maybe ProQuest will extend this limited access to the recent issues of the newspapers. Even if they don't, we could use the indystar.newspapers.com index to find articles and then go to the microfilm. This is a much more tedious process, but still a way to work around the lack of recent newspaper access. Let's see what that looks like to do the same search. So here's our indystar.newspapers.com index. And I used the same search criteria, Osama bin Laden and capture, but yikes, I got 373 matches going way back to 2001. Let me try to refine the date range to 2009 to 2012 to see what would happen. I only get 24 matches this time, but I must go in and read all of these to see which are relevant. Scrolling way down, I find the words capture and death of Osama bin Laden, and that is from 2011. So if I narrow my search to just 2011, let's see how many I get. I got 7 matches, but still not the one from the ProQuest database. So at least we can see that all the matches that we got this time are from May 2011. That would still help us if we went to microfilm. That narrows it down to a month. This time I searched with Osama bin Laden death in May 2011. We still get 45 matches, but the article we found in the ProQuest recent databases is on the top, recent newspapers database. At the very least, if I were a patron and you were able to steer me to May of 2011, it wouldn't be long before I found the article on May 2nd. Now, in reality, I know I could have Googled this event and found out the date, which if I had a patron asking this, I would certainly have done that first. I was just trying to use an example to show you. There are times when Googling when someone showed their goat at the Indiana State Fair, this is a real example, would give you no results. This index to the Indy Star did help with that. The patron who was looking for the state fair picture or caption narrowed it down to the years when he participated in 4-H, and we eventually found the article. Otherwise, he would have had to search years of microfilm. You might be asking, aren't you the librarian specializing in newspapers that are in print and on microfilm? And the answer is yes, but I love digital databases just like everybody else. Microfilm is best for archiving newspapers, and it's supposed to last 500 years. Microfilm searches are all we have if digital databases don't include the newspaper you need. But this database is expensive. We worked hard to get it, so please use it, especially while we have these great extra trial databases like the recent newspapers database. There's no doubt that digital databases are great for searching many papers and many years at once. You just can't do that with microfilm. Please encourage our patrons to give this database a try, even if they say they're not comfortable with digital databases. This database alleviates so much frustration that comes from searching microfilm with no data in mind. You might need to provide a bit of instruction and guidance, but I've had patrons thank me later for showing them how to use such a time-saving and sanity-saving database. If you have any questions at all about using this database or any other digital newspaper database, please come see me. Or if you have patrons that are having issues, you can come get me and I can help you try to navigate them through it. It's worth it, and if we can use these databases while we can, maybe they'll think about extending them. Thank you.